Hey girl, hey, it's Chef Evelyn here. If you're like me, you love brunch. But if you're also like me, you really don't like wearing pants. So that means sometimes you're gonna have to do brunch at home. Cue the French toast. I'm a classically trained chef and a fellow foodie, so trust me when I say I love eating out. But sometimes there's nothing like a home-cooked meal, especially brunch though, right? Because sometimes you've been out all night, you had a few too many drinks, and ain't nobody got time to be getting out the bed. Oh. This dish is a take on traditional French toast. We're gonna swap out the sweet batter for a savory batter that has rosemary in it. We're gonna switch out the maple syrup for a balsamic reduction. And instead of topping the French toast like you normally would with strawberries, we're gonna do it with a tomato salad with a little bit of garlic and extra virgin olive oil. Trust me, it's gonna be delicious. So to get started, we're gonna start by making our batter, right? And whatever kind of French toast you're making, this is the same procedure. So I've got 4 eggs here, and I'm just gonna crack it right into the bowl. Now we're just gonna whisk these up. And I find it much easier to whisk the eggs when there's no liquid in the bowl. Now I'm just gonna add some half and half. If you don't have half and half, you can add some heavy cream or whole milk, but I wouldn't do skim milk. So to this mixture, I'm gonna add some salt because we need some flavor. I'm using kosher salt. You could use sea salt, but whatever you do, you don't wanna use iodized salt. And the reason I don't like to use iodized salt is because the flavor is really aggressive, and with kosher salt and sea salt, it's a lot smoother. You don't get that strong iodine taste. Now we're going in with some fresh cracked black pepper. I always like to use freshly ground black pepper because the flavor is more intense and it keeps the spices longer. Just gonna whisk that together. Now we're gonna add some herbs. We're gonna add some rosemary and some Italian flat leaf parsley. So our batter is all ready, right? You can make this the night before, sit it in the fridge, let the flavors melt together, or you could just use it right now. So now it's time to dip the bread. We've got our batter here, and we've got some challah bread that I've set out overnight. Because traditionally, when you make French toast, it was made with stale bread. So we sit it out to get it nice and crusty on the outside so that it can soak up all of the batter. I like using challah bread because it holds up much better than traditional white bread when you cook it and you soak it in the batter. If you can't find challah bread, you can use brioche, but you don't want to use white sandwich bread. So you just want to dip it in the batter and let it hang out in here for about 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then you want to move it to a plate. So now that I've soaked my challah bread in my rosemary parsley mixture, I'm going to take it over to the stove. I'm going to sear it in a little bit of butter over medium-high heat, and then we're going to finish it in the oven. So while the toast is in the oven, we're gonna make the balsamic reduction and we're gonna make the tomato topping. So to make the balsamic reduction, which is kind of like our syrup, we're just gonna take some balsamic vinegar, gonna pour it into a saucepan, just like that. And we're gonna put it on the stove on a medium-high heat until it reduces by half and has the thick syrup-like consistency. So now let's put together the tomato salad, right? So I've got some rainbow cherry tomatoes here, and I'm just gonna take a couple and cut them in half, right? We're gonna put them right into our bowl. But listen, cutting tomatoes in half one by one takes all day. So I'm gonna show you a trick on how you can cut the time in half, and I promise you, this tip is gonna change your life. You're gonna take tomatoes of about the same size, and you're gonna take 2 lids, 2 plates, 2 saucers, as long as they're the same size. Put the tomatoes in an even layer. Take the other lid, put it right on top. You have to have a sharp knife to do this, and if you're not sure if your knife is sharp, use a serrated knife. Take your knife, the tomatoes, cut through, and voila, your tomatoes are cut in half. So now that we've got our tomatoes all sliced up and looking beautiful, we're gonna add some garlic to it. So I just have 2 fresh garlic cloves here. Please do not use the jarred stuff. I can taste the difference. And I'm gonna take my knife, and with the heel of my knife, I'm just gonna smash my garlic just like that. and pull the skin off. Now we're just going to mince up our garlic. Now that we've added our garlic to our tomatoes, I'm just going to add a little bit of lemon juice, and I'm rolling the lemon and putting some pressure on it just to break up the juice on the inside. A little bit of lemon juice right in there, just like that. We're also going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil just to make like a little dressing, just until it glistens. Some salt and some fresh cracked black pepper. Now we're just going to mix it all together. And this is the topping for our rosemary French toast.